So it's Sirius XM. Here they are. Hello, it's Ron.
Hi, Ron. This is McKay from the Lisa Show. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Is this still a good time for your interview?
Perfect. I'm sitting here and I'm all ready for it.
Now, if anyone's ever told you that you'd forget your head if it wasn't attached to your neck, well, then you are exactly like me, and that's why I'm so excited for this next segment. I feel like I'm always forgetting things, whether it's people's names or where I set something down or what I'm supposed to be doing later on this afternoon. Seems like my memory, with each passing day, starts to fail me just a little bit more. So is memory something that you can actually train and improve? That's what we're going to find out from memory expert Ron White. Welcome to the show, Ron.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Really looking forward to it.
Now, I've already forgotten your name. No, I'm kidding. Ron, it's great to have you here. Tell me what a memory expert is.
Well, a memory expert's probably, I guess, it could be self-defined, but a little bit about me. I'm a two-time USA memory champion. I used to hold the record for the fastest to memorize a deck of cards in the United States. But I think really more importantly, I'm just somebody who loves the idea of learning. I love the idea of memory, and I've been studying a memory technique that's about 2,000 years old, and that's how I define memory expert.
Okay, all right. Well, I didn't realize we were going to be speaking to a champion this morning, so now I feel like I've got to be right on top of my game. Have you always had a great memory?
Well, I have had a decent memory, I guess, but to the level that it is now, I'm getting ready to be 47 years old. My memory is actually getting better because I work at it. But I assure you this, I am a memory champion, you could say, but my memory is really no better than yours. My natural memory isn't.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that people love hearing about you, but I know that they're really listening because they want to hear how they can improve their memory. So let's dive in.
Absolutely. The first thing that people need to understand is that their memory is not as bad as they think it is. So stop telling yourself that you have a bad memory. The second thing that I would say is start learning the language of your memory. Your memory right now is telling you, it is screaming at you what it needs to remember. And I'll give you an example here, Richie. Have you ever been in a car accident?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. How many years ago was it?
Is there room in this discussion to plead the fifth, or can I just? No, I'm teasing. It was about a decade ago.
About 10 years ago. Was it day or night time?
It was during the day.
And were you driving or was somebody else?
Well, that's part of why there was an accident, but I'll say I was driving.
Okay, I'm not a cop. Don't worry. Now, did you reckon to them or did they reckon to you? And that'll be the last question about it.
Well, I rolled into a lake.
Oh, so this was clearly the lake's fault. That's okay.
Yeah. 100% the fault of the lake, not mine, not poor decisions.
No. So this was 10 years ago, and you were easily able to tell me all the details about it. Can you tell me just as easily, probably not, where you drove last week, everywhere you went, the gas station, everything? No. So what is our memory telling us with this example? Our memory is telling us, hey, if you make something full of emotion, like a car accident, I will remember it for you for 10 years. But if it is passive, and if it is ordinary, like driving to the gas station, I'm not going to remember it in a week. So we need to listen to what our memory is telling us. The first step to improving your memory is when you encounter something that you want to remember, you need to evoke some emotion about it and see it as a crazy picture or see it funny or see it silly. Let me give you a real quick example here.
Okay.
Richie, if you were standing in the doorway of the room that you're in right now, what's the piece of furniture right to your left?
If I'm standing in the doorway, there's a chair.
And then go around clockwise. What's next to the chair?
There is like a table.
A table.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another chair. And that's about this room. Then
let's stop there. 3 is perfect.
Okay.
In that first chair, I want you to imagine a washing machine, and I want you to see the clothes flying out of it. Now look at it and see it. What are you seeing in that first chair?
I'm seeing a washing machine.
On the table, I want you to imagine a dam, like a dam that's holding back water, and that dam breaks and floods the room. So what's on the table?
It's a dam.
All right. And on the third chair, I want you to see a chef cooking your favorite meal. What's your favorite meal?
Oh, man. Right now, pizza with so much cheese, it's just gooey.
Okay. Look at that chair and taste the pizza. The key word is chef. Now go back and tell me all three pictures.
Okay. So a mess of a washing machine, throwing my clothes across the room. That's in the first chair. On the table, it's I'm nervous because it's a dam holding back water, and I don't want anyone to be in trouble. And then in the third thing is another chair, and it's a chef cooking my favorite gooey cheesy pizza.
Perfect. And what this illustrates is that if we make things have emotion, we see them as a picture, and we place them in a location around a room, our brain will store it. When I work with kids, I will teach them how to memorize all 45 presidents of the United States in about 60 minutes this way. I say, on the first piece of furniture, imagine a washing machine for Washington. On the second piece of furniture, imagine a dam for Adams. On the third piece of furniture, imagine a chef for Jefferson, old Thomas Jefferson. And six-year-old kids do this. And so when we approach our memory from a simple way of seeing pictures, of seeing emotion, and storing the data in a room, our memories are phenomenal.
I love this. We're talking about improving our memory with a memory champion, Ron White. I love being able to visualize it and give us emotion with those things that we need to remember. So I think that's great for things like lists, or, if we're studying for a test or something like that. But is there a more practical everyday application, or does this just go across the board?
It really goes across the board. The only thing I've never had success applying it to is memorizing how to play the guitar, which I want to try to do. But let's take everyday life.
Okay.
You walk into your friend's house and you're talking to somebody, and they say their name is Brian, and then 2 seconds later you're looking at them and you're like thinking, what'd they just say their name was?
It's Brad. It's Dave. Yeah, it's simple, but you can't remember the name for the life of you.
Correct. Now let's think about this. Is the problem that we have a bad memory? If you hear a name and you don't remember it 2 seconds later, that's not really a memory problem. That is a focus problem. So you're not listening. If you were honest with that person, you would say, hey, a few minutes ago when you told me your name, I wasn't even listening to you. Right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to focus our brain in everyday life. So if all your listeners will do this, the next time they walk into a room and they see some people, you're going to meet them in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So ask yourself this question: what is their name? Just develop that habit of anytime you see somebody, get curious. What's their name? Your brain will not have an answer for that because you don't know their name, but it will focus your brain and tell your brain to listen when they say their name. The second key, I would say, is to visualize their name. If they say their name is Richie, maybe imagine dollar signs, but use a similar process.
Okay. It's interesting. So a practical application that I've seen recently in my life that I think is doing what you're telling me. So I take my dog, Robert, who is a star of the Lisa Show, on walks around our neighborhood. And during the pandemic, a lot of people have been home. And so I've met a lot of people that I otherwise wouldn't have met. And I think I probably would have never remembered their names, although I always ask and try to remember their names. And it wasn't until my wife said, who did you meet? She started to get in the habit of, who did you meet on your walk today? And knowing that I had to report back made me remember the names and locations of the people that I met along my walk. Am I practicing what you're preaching?
You're not only practicing what I'm preaching, you're taking a page out of my playbook. The question that your wife is asking you, who did you meet today, is a question that I ask myself at the end of the day. Who did I meet today? Oh, you know what? I met that guy, and he had really big ears. And in other words, I try to think of something unique about his face. Oh, and I was imagining a stove on his ears because his name was Steve, and I'm cooking those ears and I'm putting those ears in the stove because his name is Steve. So
this sounds ridiculous, but I'm sure that it helps.
Yeah, you know what? And it is a little ridiculous, but I'll share this with you. If you meet somebody today and you do that, you imagine you're cooking their stove as a Steve, and then in 6 weeks you see them at the store and you remember their name, they don't care if it was ridiculous. All they care is, wow, that person remembered my name. I'm important to that person. On our end, the process is a little bit silly and, laughable. On their end, it is, wow, I mean something to that guy.
The value of developing a great memory, aside from helping us make or build great relationships by remembering either someone's name or a detail about their life, what are other values? Like, why should we go to the trouble of doing this?
Well, if you think about it, I was reading a book, a 200-year-old book this weekend by Isaac Watts called The Improvement of the Mind. It's a great 200-year-old book. And that book, he said something that was so profound to me. He said, everything we say, everything we talk about relies on our memory. This conversation that you and I are having right now is relying on your memory. You are remembering a conversation that your wife had with you this week. You are remembering walking with your dog. Every conversation we have, everything we say, it relies on our memory. It only makes sense that if we lose our memory, the quality of our life is going to decrease. If we improve our memory, the quality of our life will increase. We'll be able to study and pass tests easier. We'll be able to give speeches without notes. We'll be able to remember our favorite poems or quotes or verses and just close our eyes and think about them. So it's everything. Memory is everything.
For those of us, and I'm not speaking for me, although yes I am, that have a really hard time focusing, and when I can actually focus in, I'm able to remember those things. If we struggle with our focus, do you have any hacks or tips that we can do to kind of silence whatever would keep us distracted from having a great memory?
This is one of my biggest problems. One of my biggest problems is my focus. This weekend, I put my cell phone in between my mattress and box springs, and I put it on silent, and I did not look at it for the entire weekend.
Wow.
Yes. It was the first time I've done that in maybe 20 years.
Wow.
And I did it in part for my focus. And every time I had a thought relating to my phone and what I thought about, I put it in a journal. It was amazing how my hand was naturally reaching for my phone when I was at a red light. It's amazing. So here's what I could say as far as your focus. Try to take a little bit of a break from social media as much as you can. Watch what you eat, but also give yourself permission to not be perfect. Your mind is going to wander. It will wander. And when it does wander, don't beat yourself up, but just say to yourself, I just caught my mind wandering. Time to get back on track. And I think giving yourself permission is important.
All right, Ron, here's the big test. What was the chef making me?
Pizza?
Yeah, you did it. Nice. Ron White, a two-time USA memory champion. You can find out more about Ron and how you can improve your own memory at blackbeltmemory.com or brainathlete.com. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, I loved it.
Coming up, I'm going to tell you all about Betty Picnic Day. That's part of your morning buzz. And
well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you heard me today live on Sirius XM Dish Network. I loved it. I'll see you guys later. I got stuff to work on.